Welcome to the Empowered Lifestyle Podcast, a movement and community designed to help you live your best life and reconnect you back to the things that really matter. Today, we are talking all things lockdown meltdown. I know for many of you listening, you've probably been through the meltdown factor many times over in this last year and a half. But I wanted to share some insight and wisdom about some things that happened in our family and some ways in which you can go about stepping into your partner's, your children's, your mum's, your siblings' shoes to be able to understand where they're coming from and really have them feel heard and understood, regardless of what's going on in the outside world. It's a challenging time, right? And sometimes we need to be that little bit wiser in that moment to take a helicopter view on what's going on so that we can really support the ones that we love. So let's jump in. Hey there, it is Kate from the Empowered Lifestyle Podcast. I wanted to jump in and just share a little bit of, insight / background story today on just some things that we went through as a family. And the title of this episode is Going from Lockdown Meltdown. And I can tell you right now, hand on heart, that is absolutely what happened in my family today. For those of you that have been following us for some time, I have a 9, 11, and 13-year-old. And where I live, we went into lockdown yesterday. It's school holidays. We had plans. We have many plans of the things that we'd like to be doing, yet there's other stuff at play. And I don't know about you, whether you've got kids, whether you've got a partner, whether you're looking at yourself in the mirror right now, but I can tell you that I am sure that lockdowns at some point in time, whether it's right now at the time of listening, whether it's in the past or whether it's in the future, have affected you in some way. And I wanted to share some insight that my husband Anthony and I had today together. And this applies whether you've got kids, a partner, or you're looking at yourself right now. Because sometimes we need to have the ability to press pause on a current situation and kind of take a helicopter view of the whole thing to see what's going on. Now, I know I've definitely had times where I've been mega irrational, flustered, angry, and not necessarily been able to articulate why I've been feeling that way. And so this morning we got up. It was a beautiful day. Yes, lockdown happened just before. The kids had plans. They had a vision for what they wanted their holidays to look like. And that was obviously turned on its head. So we got up in the morning and everything's going well. And the next thing, Zara, my 9-year-old, and then Bodhi, the 11-year-old, were just at each other, like just feral, unkind, angry, snappy. And the initial part of me was like, guys, what is your problem? Like, calm down. There's so much to be grateful for. Like, what are you going on about, right? And then the wiser part of me came into gear. And if you joined us in our Raising Empowered Families 5-day challenge, you might have heard me share this story. But I was listening to an amazing leader a little while back, and he was sharing some insight around an experience that he had with his family. And again, this plays out whether you've got kids, a partner, or you're looking at yourself in the mirror right now. So, I really look at this last year and a half has been very challenging, transformational. It's pushed a lot of buttons for a lot of people in many different ways. And so this man was sharing that, he was going through a time, this was last year, in 2020, and he was facing a major business transaction that was going south, in the south of millions and millions of dollars. And he was with his leadership team trying to figure out what the strategy was, and they happened to be in his home, and they were planning, okay, what's the next level or the next step that we need to take? So amongst all of that, they sat down to a family dinner. So the leadership team, this man and his children were there at the dinner table, and his wife, and they're sitting there having a beautiful dinner, and they got delivery of some sort. And his 13, 14-year-old daughter started to have a meltdown at the dinner table. And he's like, what on earth is your problem? And she started crying and melting down because there was a caterpillar or a bug on her salad. Now, she got a soup and salad for dinner, and she sees this bug or this caterpillar and completely loses it. And he's like, what on earth is your problem? In his mind, as a dad, he's like, I'm trying to deal with a multi-million-dollar deal going south. You've got food on the table. You're surrounded by an amazing family. You're safe. You're well. Get over it. But in the world of this gorgeous little girl, she's scared, frustrated, challenged, and it was the caterpillar or the bug on her salad that took her over the edge. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience before where something that does not make any sense just is as they say, the straw that breaks the camel's back. So anyway, he's relaying this story to his leadership team the next day. He kind of jumps down his daughter's throat at the time. He's not impressed by her behavior. She should be more grateful. She should put things into perspective. And so he was having a second meeting with his team the next day, and just about empathy and putting yourself in the other person's shoes and having that wiser view to go, how are they feeling? What's going on in their world? And in that moment of him sharing this with his leadership team, it hit him. He's like, oh my gosh, in that exact moment where I could have lent into my daughter and figured out what was going on in her world, it clearly wasn't the bug or the caterpillar that was the problem. There was something else going on that was the thing that was stressing her, but I didn't even take the time to ask or just connect with her to see what's going on. I jumped down her throat. So in that moment, he just like, I got to go home, guys. And so he went home and he walked through the door. And this gets me every time. He went into his daughter's room and he just asked for her forgiveness. He's like, I'm so sorry about what happened last night. I did not put myself in your shoes. I did not honor you. I did not connect with what was going on with you. How are you feeling right now? And she just burst into tears. And I just think of this because I know in many times in the past, I probably haven't been that conscious with my kids. I feel a lot more wiser and I guess connected with them at this point in time. But there's been plenty of times that I haven't. And she broke down because she was sad that she wasn't seeing her friends, that, her school curriculum and routine was turned on its head. There was so many things that she wasn't, happy about and she was unsettled about. And at that time, that man did not put himself in his daughter's shoes. So bringing it back to this morning, the kids wake up, they've got a beautiful breakfast, life is good, and they are total butt heads to each other, right? And so I'm like, part of me just wants to go, guys, time out. You go to your room, sort it out. But there was a wiser part of me was just like, this is not my babies. Like, this is not how they normally show up. There's more than meets the eye. And so I just snuggled into Zara, our daughter, who's 9, and I was like, honey, what is going on? And she's just like, it's not fair. And she just totally had this big kind of vomit or vent, if you like, of what she wasn't happy with. I had a plan to catch up with this friend, and now we're in lockdown and my holidays are over and it's not fair. And even when my friends go back to school, I won't be able to hang out with them because we homeschool our kids, and they are super excited to catch up with their friends who are on break right now. And then her brother Bodhi, he's like, it's not fair. I had a plan today, and just over and over and over. And one of the things that I've learned and that Anthony and I talk about a lot is if I know I've got something on my heart, I just say to him, hey, I just need to have a vent. Can you give me 5 minutes or 10 minutes? And when I do that, he knows that he's not listening to me to try and fix my problems. He's listening to me just to listen. He's not trying to give me advice or a different perspective. I just need some ears and eyes just to hear me and completely empathize. Now, what I say might be completely irrational, but I don't care. I just want to feel like I've got someone I can just download to. Your kids are exactly the same. Your partner is exactly the same. And so sometimes we hope and expect that our partner are just going to hear us And here's the thing, ladies, if you're listening right now, if you have a partner who happens to be a guy and you start telling them all of your problems, they are going to think, how can I fix this? How can I make this better? And when they do that, they're just constantly going into fix it mode. Often that's not actually what we want. Sometimes we just want to vent and download and just have them hear us. So this is why I'll always say, hey, Anne, I just need to download. I just need a vent. Can you give me 5 minutes? Can you give me 10 minutes? So he knows, I'm just listening. I'm just letting her download it all to me. I'm not going to take it on board. I'm not going to carry it as if it's my problem. I'm just going to listen. So this is exactly what I did with our kids this morning. And I'm like, hey, it sounds like there's a lot on your heart right now. And I know there's a lot of unfair things happening. Tell me, this is your chance just to vomit it out. Tell me what is going on for you. And it was just like, da, 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 da. And it was beautiful because it's kind of like a balloon deflating. And they kept on going and going and going. And one would say something and then the other would say something and then the other would say something. And I'd be like, is there anything else you want to add? And then Anthony came downstairs and I'm like, oh, Dad, we are just having a big vent about how unfair all of this is right now. Do you have anything to add? And he kind of chipped in and added as well. It was really sweet. And the kids felt heard. They felt honored. They felt seen. And guess what? The moment that happened, the narkiness, the abruptness, the shortness, the snappiness, gone. And they were more resourceful and ready to face the day. And so I share this with you because sometimes you need to, in whatever situation, whether you're adult to adult, adult to child, you need to be the bigger person to take the helicopter view of whatever's going on and just say, hey, you don't seem yourself right now. What's on your mind? What's on your heart? Let me have it. And when you say that, just be there to hold space. Be there to listen, but don't take it on your own shoulders. Don't take it on board like you have to fix it. Just be there to be able to be a sounding board. Wow, I can see why you're so angry right now. I can see why you're so upset. I completely understand. That is so powerful, I have to tell you. And it's something that we're really passionate about, is just giving wisdom and insight to families as to how you can kind of up level and change the game. Because here's the thing. If I had have continued the day without necessarily being aware of what to do and say in that moment, I would have got angry at the kids. I would have got snappy. I probably would have sent them to their rooms and told them, fine, that's it. You're not getting this today. Or you're not doing that today. And I would have gone harder instead of coming to them with understanding and empathy and them feeling heard and seen, and me contributing and having a little vent as well so that they know, oh, mum gets me. She actually understands how I'm feeling. The change in their demeanor and how they showed up in the family was almost instantaneous from us giving them the space to feel like it was okay to be in a crappy mood. And so I'm sharing this with you because you either have been in this situation, you are right now, or you definitely will be in the future, whether it's a child, a partner, a sibling of your own, and they're just off. They're not themselves. And you can either choose to take it personally and get defensive, or you can check in and say, hey, I just, you don't seem yourself right now. Like, is there something on your heart, or what's on your mind that, is causing you stress right now? Asking that question, sometimes they don't even know themselves. But when you ask that question, I saw the breath and the kids literally just a weight off their shoulders. So, this is one of many things that we've learned along the way. I do not pretend to know it all. I do not pretend to have it all perfect. But this morning I was super proud of how we showed up for our kids, because they had a right to be upset. They had a right to be snappy. But if I wasn't aware enough, I would have just snapped back and made a meaning about them that wasn't true and it didn't serve. And so it's just sometimes having that wisdom to kind of press pause on whatever that situation is, to take that helicopter view And that's just one of many things that we're really looking forward to sharing with you on our upcoming webinar, our masterclass, to just show families how to step into the next level, to be able to raise an empowered family regardless of what's going on in the world around them. And so if this message resonates with you and you are curious to learn more, we've got an awesome masterclass coming up next week, and you can go ahead and register for it at empoweredlifestyleacademy.com/empowered families. I'll pop the link into the show notes as well. But I just wanted to jump in because I know there's a lot of families, your holidays have been turned upside down, or there's something that you wanted to be able to do. A gorgeous friend of ours, that it was her daughter's birthday, she was supposed to have a party today, and try explain to a 7-year-old what's going on in the world and why she can't have a party with all of her friends. Like, there's some serious stuff going on, and in the life of a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old, to them it feels like the end of the world. So if you can have that empathy and that understanding to be able to check in and ask those great and those quality questions, it really can change the dynamic and the level of relationship that you have with your partner, with your children. Because when someone feels heard and seen and understood, it changes the game. And we're just so passionate about helping as many people kind of dive into this at a deeper level, because this is not something we're taught in school. This is not something that is necessarily common. But if you can do this, it will change the game in your relationships, as a parent, as a friend, as a partner. So just wanted to share this with you. We would love it if this resonates with you. Maybe share this with a friend. You probably got a friend that's frustrated with their partner or their mom or their sister or their child, or it's just they feel like they're butting heads. And sometimes we just need to take a little step back, pop ourselves in the other person's shoes, and then we can see things from a whole different perspective. Then we don't take it personally as well. So hopefully this short and sharp episode has been helpful for you in some way. Again, if you'd like to check out our masterclass we have coming up, I'll put the link in the show notes, or you can go to empoweredlifestyleacademy.com/empowered families. Until next time, take care and we'll chat soon.